My favorite part about hiking in Moab is that it slows you down. A lot of people love coming out here and going fast and going big, and that's great. I love that too. But when you are hiking, you slow down a little bit. You can see the small things. You'll see the wildlife. You'll get to see and hear and experience a lot of different stuff.
Moab really is a special place. There's so much beauty in these landscapes.
So many of the trails are accessible to just about anybody that comes into the area. We've got trails for people that want to hike a long distance, short trails for people that don't want to hike, there's paved trails, and there's backcountry trails as well. So there really is something for everyone.
The variety of trails and the diversity and the big landscapes. You can go all the way up to our mountain, which is 12,000 feet high, come down here into a canyon, into these washes. It's just, the overall variety is just amazing being here in Moab and hiking. So the number one thing is be prepared when you go out for a hike. Understand the terrain and you'll enjoy it so much better, because there's nothing worse than being in a little bit of trouble, running out of water, and you're not too sure how much further to go. So be prepared is the number one thing, folks.
Well, before you head out on a hike, it's really important that you take a couple of minutes and make a good plan. So that starts with choosing a hike that's appropriate for your fitness level.
No one wants a vacation to end poorly. We have a lot of people every year that get injured or even killed on the trails because they didn't pay attention or they weren't prepared for the type of trail they were going to attempt. So it's always important to remember to hike within your skill level and to just be safe and cautious in everything that you do out here.
You definitely want to have a well-packed backpack with all the equipment you're going to need, and that starts with water. Plenty and plenty of water, at least a quart or two for every person on the hike. Sun protection, things like a map, first aid kit, headlamp, because it might be dark, especially if something happens along the way.
The Moab area is the #1 place for search and rescues in the whole state of Utah. My main thing is let somebody know where you're going and when you're going to come back. Very important, okay? Especially if the search and rescue team has to go out, they want to know the area and location that you're going to be at. So hiking with your dog in Moab is a big plus. There are a large number of trails to take your dogs on in this area. It's recommended that you take a leash with them and keep your dog in control the whole time. And just like human waste, pack out your dog's waste. At many of the trailheads, there are dog waste bags, but sometimes they're not, so make sure you do have yours. And then don't leave those on the trail. Take them out with you. So pack it in, pack it out.
Along the sides of a lot of the trails out here, there's actually a living soil community.
We do have a unique soil crust here, cryptobiotic soil, which is actually a combination of an algae and a lichen. The wonderful thing about the soil crust is that it actually produces nitrogen to help all the other plants live in the community. It also stabilizes the soil to keep things right here in place. And by staying on the trail, we're able to minimize our footprint literally and figuratively to protect the fragile desert ecosystem.
One of the neat things about the sandstone we have is it's just soft enough that it's been sculpted over time into these beautiful shapes. That also means, though, that it's vulnerable to things like scratching. And unfortunately, we do find all over the parks in this whole area where people have scratched things into the rock.
It might be something hardwired into us to want to leave our mark, and it's really important to fight that because we have archaeological resources that are really special from antiquity. Definitely want to protect that. It's part of our cultural history. If we can stay on trails, respect rock art and paleontology, and just leaving things for other folks to come along and enjoy the same way that we've had the ability to, is really just kind and valuable and is what keeps this place so special.
We all need to take care of these public lands. They're for all of us, okay? And so if one person comes and trashes the area, leaves their garbage, you want to make sure that you're not doing that and you actually help pick up stuff. Because we want to keep these lands beautiful and these landscapes gorgeous how they are today. So when you come back with your children's children, that they can enjoy it just as much as we can today.
Conservation is important because we're privileged to have our public land system. Here in the Moab field office, we have 1.8 million acres that does belong to the public, to you and I. It's important to value that and to protect it and preserve it for all generations to enjoy, not just here and now, but into the future. It's our legacy.
What I hope is that everyone who comes here falls in love with this landscape just like I have, and that means they'll want to help take care of these places. Preserve the beauty, preserve the natural character, because that's really the secret for what makes an awesome experience.